What is socially unacceptable but really shouldn't be? Declining to be a part of someone's wedding party. A friend asked me to be a groomsman. I told my friend I was honored and wished I could be there. But I was already committed to be a groomsman in another wedding on the same day. And X200B. He assumed I was joking and got pissed later on, assuming I'd be in his wedding party. Going to concerts by yourself. I once did it when a friend cancelled at the last minute and had a great time. Between sets someone told me they felt bad for me rolling solo, but it let me focus on the music more than I would have otherwise. Did that once and met a girl who also was by herself, or friends left. I forget. Started to rain, outdoor concert, and I shared my cover. We made out and had a wonderful time. Wherever you are. Unknown girl from Crosby Nash concert at Mississippi River Festival. I remember you fondly. Talking about your salary with your colleagues. The company does not want to give you more money and they don't want you to discuss with your colleagues. But if you're doing the same work, you deserve the same pay. It is only in your interest to share this info with people so you can know your worth. The company I work for definitely fostered this don't talk about your salary mentality for all of us. One person on my team who severely dislikes corporate bullshit ended up getting us all to talk about it. And we realized that we weren't equally paid despite having the same job and raised the issue to our new manager after our department was organized. New manager was horrified at how different the pay was and how underpaid I was. Specifically. And immediately started talking to HR and payroll to get it fixed. And then COVID hit and things went sideways, so we're still waiting on it. But my manager is definitely doing something about it. And might not have ever noticed if we hadn't talked about it. Carrying something on your head. Once I had to transport an office chair from one end of town to another. I had a lot of time, so I choose public transport. I didn't want to pull it on pavement to do not scratch wheels. So I had to carry it. But good luck holding something so unwieldy in hands. So quickly I realized I can put a chair upside down. Seat on top of my head. Back of chair on back on my head and my back. Use armrests as handles and let's go. No one on my way said anything, but I felt so many eyes on me. Putting elbows on the table. It's my fucking table. I'll put whatever I want on it. I'm convinced this is from a time long ago where putting one's partial body weight on a table would certainly tip it over or break it. Based on every table I've ever used. This is no longer an issue. Calling out predatory women. When I was a teen I was actively being pursued by this woman in her 40s and all anyone did was laugh. If the genders were flipped I would have gotten a very different reaction. Edit. Just for the record, this wasn't an isolated incident. It happened with friends' families. A coworker at my first job. And even my foster dad's sisters. I agree. This pisses me off so much. You also sometimes see the difference gender makes with teacher-student relationships. I'm so sorry that happened to you. It must have been a very uncomfortable time, especially considering no one took you seriously. And I hope you're doing well today. Carrying tampons, pads, other sanitary products. I hate it that I feel forced to try to be as sly as possible getting them out of my bag and then hide them in my pocket sleeves every time I need to use them. Haha, honestly. I went to an all-girls school and anyone who needed a pad would just yell in the classroom asking for it. Then came college. I took engineering and obviously had lots of male classmates. Took me a while to get used to hiding them and I absolutely hate it. Men crying and expressing emotions. Telling your friends you love them. And showing affection to friends. I can platonically hug and hold my friends without catching feelings, thank you. Bro crying makes me feel better. FCK people who think it's effeminate. I'm in college. My major is tough. So I cry as much as I want. FCK those judgmental bitches. Being quiet. I don't understand why some people feel the need to fill every moment of silence with happy noise. Enjoy the silence. With some ignorant people. Breastfeeding in public. That's why women have boobs. On the reverse. People shouldn't be shamed for bottle feeding either. Not everyone can breastfeed. Babies can be allergic to breast milk, I was. And of course kids can be adopted. Yet I've seen women who have adopted or have breast cancer get told that they're horrible people for not breastfeeding. Being a virgin single. Combine both and it's complete social suicide. Being single and a virgin and in your 20s for a guy and have it be known to people around you makes you a social outcast. It's like a black mark. Refusing a public proposal. Also, in a lot of cases, not having or wanting children, especially if there's no medical reason. My view is that proposal itself, public or private, should be a surprise. But the couple would have had discussions prior concerning the progression and timing of the relationship. If someone declines a proposal, it suggests that either the proposer is doing it far too early, or that the couple has not had open and honest conversations. Also, a public proposal is a bit of DCK move as the recipient looks bad if they say no. The clinical narcissism level misinterpretation of the customer is always right, which expects store staff to be meek and servile even in the face of unbounded verbal and physical abuse. There are plenty of videos of people who assault staff and wreck displays and merchandise. Then expect to continue just f-king shopping like it was nothing while having their ass kissed. Asterisk. My niche filters out a lot of this BS. But it gives me great pleasure when someone winds up for a public tantrum and I shut that shit right down because I'm the owner. Not a spineless manager afraid of remote disconnected bosses who accept any complaint against the staff at face value. Companies need to quit rewarding people with the adult version of buying them a toy to bribe an end to a tantrum. Ed. Thanks for upvotes despite answering what is acceptable but shouldn't be. I think parents shouldn't force college on their kids. Maybe not college. But I think parents should force high school on their kids. Saw a few friends and acquaintances drop out in grade 9. Now they're working minimum wage jobs and on drugs. I'm not saying all of them are on drugs. Just trying to find a decent wage job with only a high school diploma is hard at times. Not sure if this is as unacceptable in America as it is in my home country. But when a guest refuses food that is offered, no matter how politely they refuse. No. I am not trying to offend you or Baba's cooking. I just don't f-king want to eat. I don't like a lot of food in general. So it's really annoying when I'm pressured to eat something I don't like at someone's house. I usually make up an excuse like I ate a big lunch or something, but it's not always believable and I'm forced to just tell them I'm not a fan of the meal they made. Declining to go to every family gathering as a teenager. I used to hate being dragged there and then just being quiet for most of the day because I don't get along with most of them. Not just a teenage issue. I don't like my family. And I hate the holidays, especially Thanksgiving. Everyone is acting all fake. Like everything is okay. Or hounding you about your life. I'd rather stay home and make something fancy for my so and pets lol. Bit of an odd one, but greeting people you don't know. I love saying hi to people but they either act awkward or ignore you. Like, why do people think it's so unacceptable? I'm just trying to be friendly. I live in New York City and if a stranger said hi to me on the street then alarm bells would immediately go off in my head. In my past experiences, if a stranger greets you they could be selling you something insane, trying to distract you, asking for directions. It has happened a few times before. But I'm still caught off guard, on drugs. Farting. Everyone does it. Sometimes it's unpleasant. Get over it. Outdoors. Yes. Indoors. No. I've had colleagues that have literally made people throw up inside the office due to their farts. No. You know why your farts stink? Because it's air trapped next to your shitty for an extended period of time. There's a f-king reason we all go to a different room with a closed stall to shit. Because no one else needs to be exposed to the process. It's a private matter and farting should be too. Don't force me to inhale air that's been trapped next to your shit. It's f-king rude. Go somewhere else and do it. Not necessarily to the bathroom. But somewhere where there aren't people that are going to be forced to smell your disgusting shit air. And X200B. Jerking off is perfectly natural too. Monkeys in nature do it. That doesn't mean we should all be whipping our junk out and jerking it in public. We live in a society that should be considerate of others. Don't f***ing fart on me, asshole. Making noise while defecating. We all do it. True story. I went to watch a movie at the cinema when I was about 12-14ish with a friend. Movie was over. Bladder is full from the soda, so we go to the bathroom. We hear a female literally coaching her turd out of her rectum and encouraging herself. Saying things like, "Come on. Just go down a little more and we got this. Keep pushing." My friend and I look at each other with confused expressions. Suddenly, we hear a distinct kerplunk and the girl shouts and says yes. That was nice. We didn't make a sound until she walks out of the stall. Finally realizing she wasn't alone after all. We couldn't control ourselves and just burst out laughing. It was certainly one of the most bizarre things I've ever experienced in a public restroom. Wearing hats while inside. I personally think that there's more to a person's character than if they wear a hat inside. You can be a terrible person who follows all the old-fashioned customs and vice versa. Taking it off once you're inside doesn't mean you're a good person all of a sudden. And keeping it on doesn't make you a bad-mannered, disrespectful individual. Not fat shaming. I'm fat too, but I feel like I wouldn't be if all my pay teachers weren't morosely obese from grade school on up. My gym teachers all had beer guts. One of their daughters was pretty close to being considered morbidly obese. Yet they all bitched at us to get in shape and be healthy. Picking your nose. Like if we aren't supposed to go digging for gold, then why do our fingers fit in there? It honestly more the fact that people do this and don't wash their hands afterwards. Also, your finger, even immediately after washing, really isn't all that sanitary. Full stop. Full stop. Shouldn't go sticking it in sensitive places. Letting a kid have a tantrum in public. Kids can be unpredictable and uncontrollable. They learn to use emotional outbursts to get their way. One way of teaching a child that a tantrum doesn't work is to ignore the behavior. That really depends on where you are in public. I think. If you're outside, sure, let the child scream away. If you're in a movie theater, you better find a way to calm your kid down or leave the theater fast. If you're in a store, that one I'm not sure about. But there's a point where a child's tantrum can start to interfere with the experiences of others. And that's the point where you need to quiet your child or leave. Hating your parents. There are cases where parents try their best for their kid, but people place way too much benefit of the doubt on parents. Like it's come to the point where a parent could pull a knife on a child. The police come, and somehow the police would blame the child and tell them to respect their mother. There's such a f***ing power vacuum for narcissistic parents that we are f***ing enabling. If a child hates their parents, it never hurts to do an investigation. Worst case scenario, the kid is just a spoiled teen. Best case scenario, a child is saved from f***ing suicide. Not having a relationship with your spouse's family members. My sister-in-law is getting married tomorrow. I can count on one hand the number of times she's spoken to me in the 4 years I've been with my husband. The wedding time is 8 p.m. I have a 6-month-old who is teething and usually in bed by 8. Why should I be expected to go or look down upon for not going to a wedding of someone who has never even tried to give me the time of day? My husband can go if he pleases, I'd never ask him not to, but I don't force him to like or be around my family, so why should I be expected to do so for him? Being a racist. I would definitely want to know instead of them plotting behind my back. I'm not talking about violent racist, but ones that mutter the N-word under their breath or wouldn't hire me but say we have other candidates. Just put it out there so I can steer clear of you and you of me. Adjusting my junk in public. In certain situations, getting an erection for no reason can cause damage to your schlong. It's socially acceptable for a woman to adjust her bra for comfort, but unacceptable for me to save my genitals from destruction. Being a sexual deviant. I obviously exclude those who break laws of public decency and other things. But just let us talk about our fetishes in casual settings. Obviously not in the office or at a workplace. But like, if I'm out at some casual restaurant, I want the freedom to discuss it. Not sure how that's socially unacceptable. A RedditJar pay fantasy series written at a 4th grade level was an international bestseller with hundreds of millions of copies sold and a Hollywood film franchise follow-up. People read it out in the open at work, school, airports, buses, subways, etc. Pretty sure sexual deviance is widely accepted. Talking about poop. I firmly believe that having casual conversations about poop and other bodily functions will solve many of the world's problems. Visiting a movie theater alone, back when we could, and eating out alone. I absolutely love going to watch a movie alone. I don't have to wait for anyone. And I can watch it without my friends talking or pulling their bright ass phones out in the middle of the theater. I also like eating alone. Nowadays I order food at a drive-thru. Drive somewhere secluded and dark. Fire up my tablet and catch up on missed episodes or stream a movie. Having a conversation with homeless people. Too many people just avoid them like the plague. Avoid eye contact, etc. It's dehumanizing. Often they just want to be talked to and treated like a normal person, and you will definitely be hearing some great stories. Tattoos in the workplace. It's 2020 and so many people have them. These policies need to let up. Being a single father. Single mothers are often spoken of as being beacons of struggle and perseverance. Single fathers are judged for not providing enough maternal instinct. Short for fathers are incapable of nurturing emotional development because men can't have feelings. Picking out a wedgie. It's not your fault it's up there. It's not sexual. It's uncomfortable and you should be able to swiftly remove it without judgment. But no. Telling people that you'd rather stay in. Not pretending to be sad about something you don't care about. Like if a Kardashian died I wouldn't be bothered at all. But my wife would be mad at me for that. Not wanting to touch or be around a dog cat. Criticizing idiot neighbors. Walking around in my own house naked. Scolding other people's kids when they are being bad mean. Being rejected and people not blaming whoever rejected you. I don't know. But hearing friends go you deserve better. They are missing out. etc might be an attempt at comfort. But it's just uncomfortable. People can't control whether they reciprocate or not. Deciding not to get into a romantic relationship. I've never been interested in getting in a relationship and I'm just way too busy to even think about getting into one, so I don't really see why it's such a big deal. Saying you can't work to your manager boss. I always feel guilty when I say no and offer an excuse. Killing your own food. People get more upset that you murder something they have seen in your yard, especially if it's cute, like rabbits, than if you just buy the big industry, possibly mistreated or mutant chickens and cows from the grocery store. If you are vegan, you can judge me all you want. If you aren't, don't look appalled and ask how I could do that to those sweet little animals when you ask what happened to all my rabbits and chickens and I tell you they are in the freezer. You are no better than I am. You just want to pretend meat grows on trees.